Hello everyone, welcome to Multi-Level Mess. My name is Tori, and I'm a goth against purposefully endangering lives just to throw a pyramid propaganda powwow. This is going to be a bit of a shorter video that I'm not taking a lot of time to write, so I'm sorry if it comes across a bit rushed. I just really wanted to talk about something that's been going on and that's been on my mind. I know others have already covered this topic, but I'm going to throw in my 2 rusty cents. For those of you who aren't aware, recently there was a big convention in Las Vegas for an MLM called Paparazzi. They're known for their jewelry that is cheap in both price and quality, with most pieces selling at a standard $5 a pop. I don't like their stuff, I think it's tacky costume jewelry, but that's neither here nor there right now. Now, despite how much we here in the US desperately want things to go back to normal, the truth of the matter is, like it or not, we are in the middle of a pandemic. Normally, the YouTube algorithm is really stupid about the use of that word, but since I'm not monetized, I'm not going to beat around the bush and call it something else, especially when this is a very serious topic, and I'm going to treat it as such. Hosting a super large gathering with lots of people packed together tightly in an enclosed space during a pandemic is, needless to say, a very, very bad idea. Add paparazzi actively discouraging attendees from wearing their masks or social distancing, and what you end up with is some very tragic consequences. As it happened, several distributors who attended the 6-day conference ended up catching the virus. I cannot say for certain just how many it may be, but there have been screenshots going around of consultants talking about people being on ventilators, which is not something that happens when symptoms are mild. Sadly, there have also been reports of some of these consultants passing away from the virus. To my knowledge, at the time of me writing this, there have been at least 6 deaths, though there are unconfirmed rumors of there being even more. Now, as an anti-MLM creator, I feel it is important to elaborate that I am not trying to use these cases as a means to attack consultants or smear them or their families. Regardless of my stances, I would never, ever wish this on anyone. I speak on a personal level when I say I know how scary and heartbreaking this experience is. I actually had a cousin who came down with COVID back in December. She fought so long and so hard, but after a month, her body just couldn't take it anymore and it gave out, and she passed away in January. My family is still deeply hurting from losing her. She was only 33, around the age range of many of the women participating in MLMs such as Paparazzi. That's why it pains me so much to see these businesses not only use their usual methods of recruitment and control that they normally do, but in doing so, actively endangering the health and lives of their participants. We in the anti-MLM movement often talk about the harm that MLMs can cause to things such as emotions and thoughts, but it becomes a whole new level of heartbreaking when that harm becomes physical. And I know that some of you may be eager to jump in the comments and say something like, well, it's the consultants' fault, they shouldn't have attended the conference in the first place. And while I understand why that argument would be made, out of respect for all of the consultants and their families who are going through this difficult time, I am not going to go down that route. Instead, I think what needs to be addressed is paparazzi as a company itself, and not only its sheer lack of responsibility, but also accountability. Something important that I think is really easy to overlook is just how much power paparazzi had to prevent this. But not only did they refuse to do so, they actively encouraged this. According to some consultants, there was hesitance to go for one reason or another, COVID included, but attendance to this conference was required in order to receive any rewards they had earned for all the time and effort they put into the company. Not attending would mean forfeiting those rewards and acknowledgement. There is a very heavy pressure to attend these conferences, even under normal circumstances, which I frankly think is very unfair. Imagine all of those single mothers who get recruited into MLMs, who bust their butts trying to make sales and set up booths at events, and to recruit people and constantly fork out hundreds to make a dime, eagerly looking forward to that shining moment where they will be love-bombed and showered with gifts and glitter, except they end up not receiving any of that because they can't find a babysitter during a 6-day event out of state, an event, mind you, that they also may not be able to afford to go to. And I'm not joking about how expensive this convention was either. To break it down, tickets alone were $245 each, or newer members could get a free one with their purchase of a starter kit that cost $499. For attendees staying at the resort it was being held at, they could get a special Paparazzi discounted room for $128 plus a $35 resort fee per night, or $163 a night, plus $40 per extra person with a maximum of 4 people per room. The entire event lasted 6 days, so the total cost of lodging there would be around $978 for a solo attendee. If anyone decided to bring their children and they were age 2 or older, those children would also be required to have tickets. No childcare available, no refunds on tickets, all sales final. So the cost for the event, not including anything like travel or food or purchases made at the shopping venues for the convention, would be around $1,200 to $1,500 for one person, plus tax. But for some, it cost much more than that. Money is just that, money. It is not comparable to human lives. And to give you an idea of just how much Paparazzi failed to protect its consultants, let me just run down the list of all the areas where they messed up. They didn't cancel the event. With around 385,000 cases currently in Las Vegas, the most responsible thing Paparazzi could have done was just to say, "This doesn't seem safe. For the good of our employees, who we claim to care so much about, we should cancel this event. Their lives are more important than some big party." They refused to offer a virtual option, either offering a virtual version of the conference with limited in-person attendance to enforce social distancing, or making it an online exclusive, such as many other big events such as E3 have. They could have either significantly cut back on cases or just protected their consultants altogether. They pressured members who didn't want to come into going anyway by holding their rewards hostage and making tickets non-refundable. In order to receive their recognition gifts, consultants would not only have to pay for the trip, but they'd have to be checked in as well. Anyone who'd have to back out at the last minute, whether for health concerns or something else, would lose their rewards and their money. They actively went against the regulations they said they'd enforce in their event FAQ. On the event website, Paparazzi mentions mandates for mask wearing in public indoor settings, as well as health and safety regulations, including social distancing. According to people who attended, however, neither of these were actually enforced, and consultants were actually encouraged to not wear masks. There was zero effort at the convention to actually keep people safe and healthy. Paparazzi already had their money, so they had no reason to care. They have been actively silencing anyone who tries to speak out about this. Needless to say, after such a huge outbreak of paparazzi plague, consultants and their families took to social media. On the company's pages, anyone asking for paparazzi to address the situation have been consistently blocked and their comments deleted. This is likely a poor attempt to protect their public image, but I've noticed that often MLMs have no concept of the Streisand effect. The more you try to silence something, the louder it gets. And not only are they currently pissing off a bunch of their consultants who will turn around and speak louder in places where paparazzi can't do damage control, but they're also being incredibly disrespectful to the consultants who lost their lives and their families. So why is this so important to talk about? Well, I think it's a very firm example of just how little multi-level marketing companies actually care about their distributors. I know at least some have made half-assed attempts to combat COVID when it comes to conventions by doing online events instead, but they didn't discourage things like the Monet event watch parties where people gathered in large packed groups to party and watch the events anyways. And at the time of me writing this, there was just another one of these events in Hawaii for Arbonne, with the discouragement of mask wearing being so bad that other guests at the resort it was being hosted at complaining quite a bit. So unfortunately, within the next week or so, I'm expecting to start seeing posts about Arbonne consultants having a mass breakout. At this point, all I can hope is that those who caught COVID from any of these events and are still fighting it manage to recover. For those who lost their loved ones, I express my deepest, truest sympathies. I know that it can be difficult to hear those of us who are so against the business model you participate in speak about this, but please know that we do this out of genuine concern. I do not wish harm on anyone. I do not attack anyone personally. I just want to spread awareness, and I think in this case, it's absolutely important that people know that paparazzi is silencing the voices of victims. I do hope that these companies do the right thing and publicly address the harm they have caused and reach out to help instead of continuing to suppress the truth. MLMs tend to lack integrity, but it's never too late for them to try to show some humanity. To everyone watching this, regardless of your political beliefs or what businesses you support or your walks of life, I implore you to do what you can to protect not just yourself, but those around you. Our society these days is so easily divided on so much, eager to make every issue black and white, us versus them. I don't think human lives should be that way. We are all human, and we should be here for each other. I know that's funny coming from me. I can be a social recluse and a pessimist. It's difficult for me to trust someone, but easy to hold a grudge. I tend to have little faith in others, but I want that to change. I want to do better. I want to be better. I strive for growth, and I think that's something we all should strive for. It's okay to change. It's okay to do right to others, even if we don't think they deserve it. Sometimes we'll be hurt by it. Sometimes we may regret it, but at least we can say we tried, right? And as a reminder to my audience, remember that despite what we may think of multi-level marketing companies, the people who participate in them are that, people. It is important that we offer them a little compassion. If we wish to help them learn about MLMs and make informed decisions, it is better that we do it from a place of kindness, not hostility. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Again, I'm sorry if it felt a little rushed. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing and checking out my other content. Follow me on Twitter and Facebook, and check out my blog at multilevelmess.wordpress.com. Be kind to yourself, take care, and I hope to see you back in the graveyard very soon.